All right, Miller, let's quickly wrap this show up here. Let's talk a little bit about the division series. We have let's talk the prediction on the first one. We have the Yankees versus the Guardians that's starting in the Bronx, on Monday.
And remind me, that's 5-game series still, right? They haven't changed that.
Yes, best of 5. So
okay, I have to make sure. Okay, I don't want to like a dummy here on the podcast, but I'm probably picking the Yankees. I know everyone wants to ride with Cleveland. I would love to ride with Cleveland. I would love to see the Yankees get upset and lose because I would love the misery of the Yankees fans, all the question marks that will come with Aaron Boone. Is Aaron Judge going to return? I think the most fascinating narrative would be for the Yankees to lose this series, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I do think being that team that gets the top seed and having that bye is important because now you're probably gonna have like Cal Quantrill or something going against Garrett Cole in that game one. Like that is going to be a big advantage and a big boost to the Yankees in this game one, where they could basically jump out to an early series in a very, like we just said, best of 5 series. So it's going to be shorter. So I do like the Yankees in the series. I still love Aaron Judge and still think as long as he's healthy like he is right now, he's probably going to hit a couple home runs in this series. The rest of the lineup, we'll see what they do. I think you're going to need someone like an Anthony Rizzo. Judge is going to need a partner in crime. Maybe a Stan steps back up. And we've seen Stan in the past. He's been one of the Yankees' biggest player performers. We saw what he did in the wild card game last year against the Red Sox. So I do think Judge is going to have a partner in crime, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Stanton being that partner in crime with him.
If I'm Cleveland, Judge doesn't see a hittable pitch the entire series.
That's fair.
Force LeMahieu or Rizzo or Stanton, or let's not forget Gleyber Torres. You're right. I think that if someone other than Judge steps up, I think the Yankees are going to win. The Yankees had this, they stubbed their toe in mid-July through August, but they had a fantastic September and to basically cruise to a division title. Their bullpen is vulnerable. Their bullpen looks, they don't quite look as strong as a bullpen as they did earlier in the year. And Cleveland's bullpen is terrific. It boils down to this. I think they're making a mistake starting Cole game 1. I would start Nestor Cortez Jr., who pitched better down the stretch. And Cole, I would take the pressure off of Cole and throw him game 2. Cole who's a wonderful pitcher, obviously, but he always seems to have that one bad inning that sort of spoils it. If the Yankees win the first 2 games of the series, I think they're going to win. If Cleveland steals a game in the Bronx, I think they're going to win because you're going to have Bieber and McKenzie going 3 and 4, and I would take them over, Severino or Herman or whomever, or I don't know. They're probably not going to pitch Taillon or Frankie. Yeah, it's going to be Taillon and Severino. So I pick Bieber and McKenzie over them, even though both Severino pitched very well down the stretch and Taillon pitched well down the stretch.
How about Montes? Are we forgetting him? Is he going
to I doubt Montes is even going to pitch. I think that's a bust of a trade. I think it's going to be a close series. I think it's going to be a 5-game series. I am going to pick Cleveland for the reason that I think that they're going to be a pain in the neck, and I like their bullpen over the Yankees, and they're smart enough pitchers to befuddle everyone not named Aaron Judge. It would not stun me if the Yankees won, but I am going to pick Cleveland just because I like their pitching staff a little better, and that the Yankees have a have a lineup that can be stymied. You've seen them happen where the bats go dead, and if they pitch around Judge and force one of the other persons and they press, then there you go. Then I think that that's what I think it's going to happen.
And maybe Chapman could infect the team with some bad vibes because he's officially off the DS roster after missing a workout. And Brian Cashman had some scathing comments where he was like, initially, I was shocked that he wasn't there. But then after thinking about the whole year, I do have to question his commitment to the team because his words say he wants to be in, but his actions say otherwise. Scathing comments between Brian Cashman and Aroldis Chapman. And maybe that could be the nuclear bomb as we're on the precipice of Armageddon ourselves here in America. Maybe that could be the Armageddon nuclear bomb in the Yankees locker room.
Chapman shouldn't be in the major leagues, but it's a whole different situation. Seattle versus Houston is an interesting series. Obviously, Houston, best team in the American League on paper, and Seattle has a ton of talent. What's your take on that?
I'm of the mindset when it comes to the Houston Astros. I don't know why, but I view them like I view the Kansas City Chiefs or the Golden State Warriors. I'm just riding with the Houston Astros every series until they lose. And that's probably going to be my philosophy all the way to the World Series with whoever they face coming out the National League, because if we go back to 2017, back to this cheating scandal, all the way till now, this Astros team is in the championship series or better every year since 2017. Their lineup is still as good as ever. Altuve still had an MVP type season. Jordan Alvarez is a stud. Kyle Tucker's of the world. You have rookies like Jeremy Pena stepping up. Their rotation is freaking nasty. They got the Cy Young Award winner. They got Framber Valdez, who like set the quality start record. They got other dudes. Lance McCullers is coming back. Like this Astros team, I mean, they reshape their roster every year while still having most of the core guys there, and they're just stacked. They're a loaded team, so I would be surprised if the Astros didn't do what they normally do when it comes to the playoff time.
I think they're going to win in 4. I give the Mariners 1 game.
That's fair.
But going Verlander's going to the Cy Young Award. You could make a case for Framber Valdez.
Yeah, exactly.
Christian Javier would be the number 1 starter on a bunch of teams. Lance McCullers Jr. and Jose Urquidy. I mean, they're so deep in their pitching staff, and they can score like crazy. Again, I would love to see Seattle do well. I have a soft spot in my heart for the Mariners. This Houston team's just better. Now, again, last year the Rays were better than the Red Sox, and the Red Sox found a way to beat them. So, if they could steal a game in Houston, maybe. But which one are you going to steal it against, Verlander or Valdez?
Yeah, there's no easy options here. And thankfully, you don't have to win that many games. Like if the Mariners can stay hot for a 2-week period, you only have to be hot for 2 weeks to win it all. So the Mariners, we've seen crazy things happen in the postseason, like you mentioned with the Red Sox. We saw it last year with the Atlanta Braves, where we have these wild card teams who we maybe don't have the World Series expectations for them, but they just keep doing it series after series. And so maybe the Mariners are the destiny team of the future. We said it with the Padres earlier. Maybe it's one of these cursed franchises. It's obviously not the New York Mets. They stay being cursed. So maybe it's the Mariners. Maybe it's the Phillies. We'll see. All these teams that are, just historically cursed seem to be playing pretty well right now.
Well, let's go to that Phillies-Braves series, or as I like to call it, the Mets nightmare. That after winning 100 games, the Phillies and the Braves are playing while the Mets are playing golf. What do you got in that?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to feel bad if you're a Mets fan. Just doubling down on the Mets misery here because it's a battle of the NL East. And I'm just going to lean. I think I'm just going to go with probably a repeat of last year's World Series. We'll see how the postseason plays out. But I love the Braves this year. I love the Houston Astros. This Braves team is nasty once again. I think they're even better than what they were last year because now you got Ronald Acuna on this team. And yeah, Freddie Freeman's not there, but you got Matt Olson giving you, 80 to 85% of that Freddie Freeman production, while Austin Riley stepping up another 10 to 15% in his place anyway. So you got those two. Your rotation, Kyle Wright has been downright nasty this year in that rotation. Fried. Hopefully your rookies are healthy. The Spencer Striders, hopefully he's healthy. I'm not too sure. I haven't checked his status recently. Michael Harris has been a beast. So this Braves team, they have a combination of star power, veteran star power, and really young talent as well. They're deep. This Phillies team, I like them, but there's still question marks when it comes to their defense, their bullpen as well. I just feel like there's less flaws when I look at that Atlanta team that's still stacked and the reigning World Series champs.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Braves in 4 because I think that either Nola or Wheeler are going to pitch well and win a game in Philly. But the Braves are so good, and I think that they have a single-minded focus. And that is to be the first National League team to win back-to-back titles since the Big Red Machine of 1975 and 76. And this team could very well do it. Philadelphia obviously upset St. Louis. They could get hot. Obviously, they did. And they had wonderful pitching. But I think the Braves can match their pitching, can match their bullpen, and match their lineup. I just think Atlanta is a little bit better at each level. And so I pick Atlanta in 4. And finally, we have the Dodgers were like, okay, are we going to have a cross-country flight or a 2-hour drive? And so the Dodgers are playing San Diego, or is it kind of the Giants nightmare series. What do you got in that?
I feel like people want to pick the Padres based off what we just saw them do against the New York Mets, but I feel like this is going to be another big brother versus little brother series, and we're going to see the Dodgers reassert their dominance and show why they're the kings of the NL West. I won't say it's going to be the same when the Dodgers face the other teams in the postseason, but I think against the Padres, who they see 20 plus times in a regular season, who they probably have a very good record against in the regular season, I'm riding with the Dodgers in this series. Yes, you got guys like Clayton Kershaw, who's old, but Julio Uriases of the world have really stepped up. They basically have 5 dudes in the rotation, like a sub 2.8 ERA. They led the league in runs scored. They led the league in ERA. There's nothing you could point to that won't say the Dodgers are not the best team in baseball, at least statistically on paper. So it's hard to go against a team with multiple MVPs, multiple Cy Young Award winners on their roster.
And they're doing that even without Gonsolin. I'm not sure if he's back or not, but he certainly won't be at full strength without Walker Buehler. Obviously, Darvish has pitched wonderfully down the stretch. Obviously, Musgrove pitched wonderfully down the stretch, and they have MVP candidates. Dodgers in 3.
Dodgers in 3. Wow. And I actually want to just double check real quick. The Dodgers this season against the San Diego Padres, so I don't look like a dummy on the podcast, 14-5 against the Padres in the regular season this year. So they asserted their dominance in the regular season, and we'll see if they could do in the postseason. Sully says, get the brooms out, Dodgers fans.
And that's these are what I think will happen, not necessarily what I want will happen. Mm-hmm. So I'm picking an ALCS, which will be Cleveland versus Houston. And I just can't see a scenario right now that isn't Atlanta, Los Angeles for the NLCS.
Yeah, and just looking at it one more time, Dodgers 14-5 against the Padres, also 14-5 against the D-backs. So the D-backs as close to the Dodgers as the Padres are. Just wanted to give a little shout out to D-backs Nation. We're still thinking about you during the playoffs.
Yep, well, we got to do something. And in case you're wondering, damn right I go to church.
Oh, okay.
Mine is in the ballpark. Now, of course, those dimensions are Fenway, but what are you going to do? Hey, Miller Thomas, where can they follow you?
Hey, follow me on Twitter at CreatorThomas24 for my personal account. Look up Locked On Diamondbacks, both Twitter and Instagram. Just type it in the little search bar, or go on YouTube. We need more subscribers. Locked On Diamondbacks on YouTube, and of course, we're on all your podcasting platforms. So please tell your friends.
And I'm at Locked On MLB Pods on both Twitter and on Instagram. And my account is Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Looking over the wild card round. First time ever doing wild card round. And guess what? I think it was a success. I think it was a lot of fun. And now let's see if we can bring it on with some more memorable games in the division series. This has been Locked On MLB for the 10th day. We're in mid-October, 10th day of October, 2022. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Call me Sully. Call him Miller Thomas. Time to fist bump our way to the division series this afternoon.